Hey everyone, I am back with a quick little update video on how my rehab's been going so far. I'm at about week 15, give or take a couple days here and there. I've kind of been losing track exactly just because I've been focusing on the rehab and not filming as much. And I figured that, spacing out the updates might be better because I feel like every week was getting a little much, because at this point there's not huge drastic changes week to week compared to early on in the rehab process. So yeah, I'm at about week 15 right now after ACL reconstruction with the quad graft and meniscus repair. So if you haven't seen my other videos, I was non-weight bearing for 4 weeks and partial weight bearing for 2 weeks. So it's like using one crutch to kind of walk around, between like weeks 4 and 6. And then after that, I was walking again. It was a little slow because I, just learning curves of things in the rehab process. And I'm slowly working my way back up to getting back to, normal life, going through rehab. Week 15, just over 3 months since surgery. Yeah, I guess it's been a crazy journey right now. I'd say so far it's been a big learning process going through rehab. I think the biggest part is, it's kind of cliche what I've seen online and talking to other people, but just the mental toll it takes, this rehab process. Especially if you're not like a pro athlete or someone with crazy genetics, or you're already really strong and fit before surgery. I feel like that puts you at an advantage for getting back to better fitness earlier. Not that it's still a hard process regardless, but myself being a little bit not as muscular, I'd say, and having a longer time frame between surgery and injury may have made it a little bit harder for me because I've lost a lot of muscle before surgery. I was trying to maintain that as best as I could, but with navigating the pain and kind of, it's kind of a difficult process at that point. So yeah, anyways, I just want to give you guys an update. Let's get into it. I haven't updated you guys in a couple weeks on the kind of just general things, so I kind of want to do that here, just get that documented. And maybe some other videos I'll, do more like workout related things and kind of, film a lot of workout stuff and really show you guys what I'm doing. But I just want to give you a quick update and let's run through it. So generally my knee is feeling pretty good. It's still stiff. I can't say that, I feel really fluid and smooth all the time. If I'm sitting for a while and I have my knee bent, like right now, just kind of sitting here on the couch with my knee bent, if I'm sitting like this for, half an hour or longer, it is stiff getting up, and my extension is still kind of an issue. I can get full extension, and I'll even touch on that a little bit here later, but I still feel like I have to kind of like stretch it out for a minute or maybe walk around for a minute. And after that, I can get some pretty good, just fluid motion in my knee, good gliding and whatnot. And it also ties into just whether if I'm kind of swollen from working out too much or something, that'll make it harder, obviously. But generally my knee's feeling pretty good. And there's moments where I feel like my knee feels like it didn't even have surgery when I'm, coming off of like a workout routine, which I'll get into a little bit here. But generally it's still pretty stiff, I'd say. I gotta warm it up, stretch it, but it's definitely better than what it was a month ago, 2 months ago, obviously. So, and yeah, after my workouts, like if I'm doing a lot of squats and other quad focused workouts, I feel like I can, do all those workouts, get to failure fatigue with those. At the end of my workout, I'll do like a little just body weight squat, and it feels like my knee just feels like a normal knee again, which is pretty nice. That goes away pretty quickly because after that, I usually kind of go relax and whatever. So it doesn't stay around for long, but it's just promising to know that, there's light at the end of the tunnel, and definitely making sure you hit your workouts is vital. Not just for feeling good, but just, getting through the rehab process. So yeah. And just a quick update on the rehab routines. So I have started going to the gym to get some more challenging workouts in. So I've been doing things like squats with barbells on the back there. I've also done like front squats here, which target the quads more. The back squats more allows your glutes and hammies, more with glutes I guess, to kind of activate and help out. But those front squats, those are really challenging. That one's harder to get heavy weight with. And that really works the quads pretty good, which is what I really need to focus on with the quad graft, also just in general in this process, you need to make sure you get your quad working again, because that's definitely affected by the surgery. Leg extension, that one's probably my hardest workout. At my gym that I've been going to, I can only get like 10 pounds on the machine, whereas like my left leg, my non-operated leg can get to like 70, 80 pounds with like 3 sets of 10, 12 reps. So there's a big difference there. I've noticed at my PT, we have squat racks and stuff there and some cable machines. If I do any like leg extension workouts there, I can get to like 20 pounds. So maybe my gym's just a little, I don't know, got some heavier weights or just, more resistance on the cables there, something going on. I've been doing leg curls for the hamstrings. Those are good. I feel like for the most part, like hamstrings, glutes, anything but the quad on my right leg that had surgery, it feels pretty good. It's really just anything that focuses on the quad is what really gets challenging and even discomfort. So yeah, that's something that I've noticed with my knee, especially having the quad graft. I think that's definitely why. Leg press, I typically do that with single leg, so just left leg, right leg. Most days I do single leg workouts. I'll maybe warm up with like double leg, but then transition to single leg with 3 sets of 10 to 12 reps roughly. And yeah, the hamstrings, the glutes are all feeling pretty good. They're definitely weaker just because I haven't used my leg a lot since surgery, and even since my injury really, which was almost 6 months ago now when I tore my ACL Meniscus. So yeah, deadlifts, those are good. Just some other miscellaneous things like core workouts, your adductors, abductors, all that good stuff. But just want to highlight like kind of the main like heavy workouts I do for the quads and the glutes and hamstrings. And it has been lately a challenge to push myself hard enough without flaring up my quad tendon. It's kind of like a balancing act right now. That's what I'm trying to learn and get it's kind of a learning curve right now, just kind of figure out that fine line of where, make sure I push it hard enough to where I'm progressing as much as I can without overdoing it and flaring up my quad, which then kind of makes me have to jump back the next couple of days on the rehab, kind of like, taper off a little bit. So I want to make sure I get as much as I can out of it every day instead of kind of going too hard one day and then having to take like 3 days off to kind of let my quad rest and get back to normal. So that's been a hard one. I did do something kind of stupid. I went back to the gym last week, and for some reason I thought, I was thinking like my PT, home workout mindset of like doing stuff every day or every other day. So I went to the gym, did leg stuff on like a Friday, I had a rest day on Saturday, and then Sunday I went again, and I was not feeling good in my quad at all. Like it was to the point where it's kind of painful. But I was just too eager to kind of, get back in the swing of things and really push it. And I definitely did another leg day when I shouldn't have, and that kind of made me had to jump back. So like that following Monday, Tuesday, and even Wednesday, I didn't really do any quad workouts, and I kind of didn't do a lot of stretching or anything to kind of let that rest, which might not have been the best plan of action. I might have overcorrected a little bit there, but yeah. So you definitely want to make sure you do as much as you can without overdoing it and making yourself have to kind of taper back for a few days and kind of, I don't know, up and down process. You want to kind of stay steady if you can. So it's just a learning curve there that I've had on my end. And a huge help, I don't know if this will help people who didn't have a quad graft, but it might, because I know the quad is really affected with this type of surgery and everything. But doing quad isos, so if you put like a leg extension machine like up to 100 pounds and you just try to, push it, obviously you're not going to be able to, most likely, unless you're already pretty strong with your surgical leg. And that's just, really tensing up the quad tendon in the quad, and you're kind of just doing that quad set in a way, but in that flex position, which is when it's like most stretched out for the quad tendon and quad, I believe, as well. So it's in its most stretched state, and you're just kind of really contracting it, and doing about 4 sets of 30 seconds with 30 seconds off has been a great warm-up for me. If I do that, I notice that I can do like pretty deep squats without any pain, leg extensions without any pain. So yeah, that's a great help for me for warm-ups, and even just, if you want to do that in the morning, just gotta get ahead of things for the day for yourself. That's a good little warm-up too that I found on my end. And I haven't worn my brace in weeks. I haven't worn it since I basically made my little short video maybe a month ago now. I kind of lost track of the actual timeline on things, but I have not worn a brace since then. And it was slowly a mental challenge at first, just because of the fear of like, I don't want to do anything that's gonna, you know, upset the knee or, you know, injure myself again or anything. So that was a little bit of a mental challenge now, but now I don't even really think about it. I don't really have that fear mindset anymore, which is something I really had early on. So just kind of working through that day by day. It's gotten better. I've done things like I've gone to the beach out into the waves, which was a little scary without my knee brace or anything. And one thing I didn't think about in that scenario was, you know, under the water, you can't really see all the little like divots and holes in the sand. So that was a little sketchy, but yeah, so I'm doing a lot of stuff now without my brace, and just also being mindful of not doing anything crazy, because I'm still at a, you know, at 3 months, you're still at a very vulnerable state right now. And it's, I think one of the highest tear rates is around, you know, 2-3 months. I could be wrong there, so don't quote me on that one, but you know, early on, you're starting to feel better, which I definitely am starting to feel better myself. And you kind of forget your limits and overdo things, or maybe do something that you maybe weren't prepared for. You know, you haven't worked yourself up to in rehab yet with your muscles and everything. So just definitely being mindful of that still, but I haven't worn my brace at all. And then for my range of motion, so if you've seen my other videos, I've been struggling with my flexion range of motion since surgery. I was definitely limited early on because of the meniscus repair. I wasn't able to go past 90 degrees for the first 4 weeks. And I was slowly able to go past that each subsequent week after that until 6 weeks. Then I could go as far as I wanted to, as far as I really could at that point, really. So for my flexion, I've gotten to at least 135 degrees flexion. It might have been a little bit more, I haven't really measured it on my own because it's hard to do at home. And we don't really measure it every day now at PT every time I'm in there, but we measured it yesterday. It was 135 degrees, and that was not really a good, I feel like, flexion day for me. I was feeling kind of swollen and tight from overdoing the quads at the gym this week, and everything's kind of like just tender and flared up a little bit. So I'm probably around 135 to maybe like 140 at most now. And for that one, I've been doing the heel slides every day. Also doing a prone quad stretch, so you're laying on your stomach, and you can use like a strap to kind of pull your leg to your butt, or if you can get it far enough, you can just kind of use your arm to kind of pull it, which I might just show right here because I don't know if I have a video of this. But basically using a strap, and you're trying to get your heel to your butt here. And I'm just doing this out of nowhere, so it's really tight right now. And I really gotta warm it up, but that was not a great showing. But I can get to, you know, around 135, maybe 140 at the absolute most right now. But it's still something that if I were to do that under load at that range, it would not feel good. I think past 90 is a little touch and go right now for me with like squats and stuff. So, and then for my hyperextension, so it's kind of well documented on this channel and some of my videos that I have a lot of hyperextension normally. Like I think we measured my left leg not too long ago at a doctor's follow-up, and I'm at like 15 degrees hyperextension normally. So with this leg, I've been working on that. That's something I've been working with my newer PTs too. And I've gotten some hyperextension now. It's nothing like 15, but I don't think that's really, I don't know. I've touched this a lot, but it's kind of differing feedback on whether you want to match your leg, even if it's that crazy of hyperextension, because that will put you at risk for injury. You don't really want to hyperextend too much. I think it's kind of like the rule of thumb for protecting your knee and all your ligaments and everything. So I'm pretty happy with my passive hyperextension. And I think once my quad gets stronger, I'll be able to kind of, you know, really get that extension actively. Right now, I can't do that just yet. And that's still kind of a hard part on my end. If I don't stretch, it's hard to even just actively get fully straight. I have to kind of stretch it out for like 30 seconds, just kind of lay flat with my leg. And then I can get that full straight active extension. And I can get a little bit of hyperextension, but not much really there. But I think that'll come with more strength on my end, and just, you know, less swelling in the knee, and just everything getting better generally. And then just kind of an update for you guys looking ahead. So this week I had a slight hiccup because I overdid the gym stuff, so I kind of had to take a few days off. I didn't really stretch those days or anything like I said, so that's behind me now. I'm gonna kind of try to be mindful of not overdoing it. That's kind of a learning curve on my end. And then in the future here, I'm gonna start incorporating plyometrics. It's like copying and all that kind of stuff, which will then kind of build me up to returning to run. And I think probably within a couple weeks, I might start jogging. So that's the plan right now. I think I gotta hold up my end of the recovery process and just make sure I keep working the strength. Don't overdo things so I don't have to take days off and kind of set myself back. So if everything goes to plan, I should be, within a couple weeks, maybe 3 weeks, kind of start jogging again, I think. So that'll be exciting. And I'm really looking forward to that one. And then just kind of like a quick little outro here. I haven't been updating you guys as frequently because I was doing every week in the past, obviously, if you look back at my videos. But I think now at this point, there's not a huge change week to week. So kind of like I mentioned in the very beginning, I think I might do like maybe once a month or every other couple weeks or something like that. Just kind of update you guys along the way. And then maybe here and there, I'll do some like workout videos where I film my rehab process, maybe go to the gym or something like that. And yeah, just kind of make kind of more focused videos, maybe here and there. And then the kind of sit down like this update video is a little bit more sporadic based on milestones or just, every couple of weeks. So I'm not really overdoing these updates when there's not a whole lot changing. So I appreciate you guys for watching. If you made it this far in the video, please drop a like, maybe subscribe if you're not subscribing already. Let me know what you think of the video. If you have any suggestions for future videos or anything like that you'd like to see in this process, to make sure that I'm documenting stuff for you, myself, and people in the future who are going through this rehab process. And I will see you guys in the next video.